Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Happy Friday Eve, everybody.
Oh, wow. I have not heard that in a long time. Happy Friday Eve. What a way to kick off a show, Maddie.
Of
10
course.
out of 10.
I know how to do it.
10 out of 10. You get an A. You get an A. Fish, you failed the class. I'm sorry, buddy.
I know. That makes sense. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I don't know
Anybody
how.
was failing the class.
You know who else gets an A?
Oh, I mean, do we?
Plus 43, Cade Cunningham.
I mean, that is unbelievable. Maddie, I'm sure you watched the game as well, just like everybody else at home, but holy hell.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is everything you'd want in a number one pick.
But he's not Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, we're going to take care of that a little later. But, Jeff, Pistons win last night. Seems like they own the Hawks.
Yeah.
Because I believe the last two games have ended in similar fashion. The Pistons just running away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through the game last night. Killian Hayes, another solid performance, improving. It seemed like Dunk City at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Well, last night, a lot of things went into it. Number one, the bench was a big reason why they were able to win. 55 total points scored. But shout out to Sadiq Bey. Before we get into Cade Cunningham, gotta give a shout out to Sadiq, breaking the Detroit Pistons franchise record in three-pointers, passing Allen Houston. So shout out to Sadiq. Didn't have a great shooting night, but hit some threes, able to break the record. But yeah, the Atlanta Hawks played their second game in 2 days. So that obviously had something to do with it. They're coming off a big emotional win in New York. Trae Young in New York. Everyone knows that rivalry. And then now coming to play the Pistons on back-to-back. Trae Young and Bogdan in that New York Knicks game, they both combined for 77 points against the Knicks. They followed it up the next night against the Pistons, only combined for 34 points. So that helped out a whole lot. But so we got to give praise defensively for the team overall, but we got to get to the elephant in the room, though. I mean, Cade Cunningham, and listen, he's making it harder and harder by the day to deny that man Rookie of the Year, because let alone Rookie of the Year, he's putting up all-star numbers, essentially. I mean, he finished with a plus 43. Let's just start there, which is the highest plus-minus by any Pistons player since April 17, 2012. So that's the start. The next part is Cade since the All-Star break, and that's even more impressive. 21.5 points, 6.9 rebounds, 6.5 assists. But, Jeff, he's not efficient. Oh, yeah, 46% field goal percentage. So he's putting up all-star numbers efficiently, and that's probably the most impressive part about Cade's whole rookie season is he's just getting better. And it's honestly, in my opinion, that should make the Rookie of the Year award easier to decide. You got a rookie who's getting better and better and better as the season goes on. So, to me, I mean, forget Rookie of the Year. That's all-star numbers. So, I mean, we're looking at the big picture, and it's a blessing, obviously, for us. We're able to watch Cade Cunningham on a consistent basis. He's clearly the best thing to happen to this franchise through the draft since probably Isaiah Thomas. And that's all, no disrespect to Grant Hill or anything, but in terms of impact player, I see him being a similar impact on the Pistons than an Isaiah Thomas because, number one, stars are going to want to play with him. I mean, that's just the reality of it. A guy's unselfish. He has a high basketball IQ. He commits to both sides of the floor, and that's really what I saw last night. Another great game. Didn't look like he was forcing anything. I mean, yeah, he's got to cut down the turnovers, but again, with that much just ability he has to create for so much on that offense. So the turnovers I'm not worried about. He's playing great basketball. He is.
Can you say that again? Did I misunderstand? Did you say that he can be more than what Isaiah Thomas was? Or
have that same impact.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, all-star. Because think about it. And Isaiah, we'll talk about it later.
I think you're onto something, and I want to say what? 8:45-ish?
I'll get into it. I got a whole thing written down.
Yeah, we're going to talk about whether or not Cade can become the next Isaiah Thomas for this franchise. But, Jeff, last night was just a stamp of approval. This is the best rookie, and it's not even close.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And I'm not sure what to say anymore to try and sway you. I'm not sure if I should convince you anymore. My question, because I don't believe I have a statement or an answer this morning that'll convince you that Cade is Rookie of the Year. But I have a question that I think will.
Okay.
If Cade is playing anywhere else right now, on any other basketball team, if he's playing in a bigger market, if he's playing in, even though Detroit's a big market in my opinion, but we'll leave that alone. If he comes with a social media presence like a LaMelo Ball did last year, is he not the Rookie of the Year by a mile? He's 17, 6, and 6. Since the All-Star break, 22, 8, and 7.
I think there's like 7 rookies that put up those numbers, and a majority of them have won Rookie of the Year. Like, comparable to other Rookie of the Year winners. It's
You know what's funny? You know what's comical? Again, I don't want to use recency bias only, but in the last 4 games, Evan Mobley's put up 13, 27, 13, 13.
consistency. Get that shit out of here.
He is a consistent 13 to 15 point a night guy. He's averaging, I think, about 15 a night right now.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. He's efficient. That's nice. He's a very good player. He turned out to be a very good pick for Cleveland. He's not the best rookie in this class. The best one was taken number 1 overall for a reason. I don't know. I'm not sure what else I can say this morning. Plus, minus of 43 on the court last night. He made every correct decision you can think of. Yes, he has turnovers. Fine. He's a rookie. Go find me one rookie that walked into this league.
And find me another rookie who has as much on his shoulders as Cade. Like, running it, creating an offense. Like, nobody has as much of that.
Have we seen an offense that dependent on a player? Or a rookie, I should say. In recent years, who has it been?
Maybe
Trae Young.
Maybe Luka.
Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
If I want to go back to the early 2000s, obviously LeBron James. But Tyreek Evans in Sacramento was never, that was... all the pressure was on him every night. Can you think of rookies that came into a situation where they're on a basketball team that the youngest player, or excuse me, the longest tenured player is Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes is the longest tenured player on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I don't know what we're doing in the media anymore. I'm not sure what point we're trying to make. Cade Cunningham is obviously the Rookie of the Year. He's playing not only at a level no one's playing at. I could argue, had he not started the season injured, had he not gotten hurt midway into it,
Oh, it'd be no question.
I bet you any money what you're seeing now, you see 15, 20 games into the year, and we're talking about, well, should he be an All-Star?
Yeah.
Right now we're sitting here talking about a Rookie of the Year award that... it's not even close anymore to me. Evan Mobley has had a phenomenal, consistent season all year. Congratulations. I do not want to take that away from him. But is he playing at the level that Cade Cunningham is? Can anybody answer that question for me? Because
Nope.
I believe that answer is no. Jeff?
No, you're absolutely right. And that's why the biggest part of this isn't even the Rookie of the Year conversation. It's All-Star. Since the All-Star game, you're averaging 21, 7, and 7, essentially. That's all-star numbers. If they were winning games, he'd be an all-star. So that's the question we're having. It's what's the definition of Rookie of the Year? I asked this a couple months ago, and I still don't have an answer to it. Do we value winning, or do we value the individual talent? Because if it's individual talent, Cade wins, no question, no argument. But if we're going to value winning and just, how much of an impact, no, all that's BS. The best rookie's Cade Cunningham. But again, who knows what the NBA is going to do? That's up to them. It's not up to me. But we know what we're seeing. I think regardless if Cade wins or not, he's going to be an all-star as soon as probably next year or the year after that. He's already averaging 17 points with limited free throw attempts. Imagine if he gets his free throw attempts up. He's clearing 20 points next year. Like it's no question about it. So Cade Cunningham had a great game. Killian Hayes had a good game on both sides of the ball, and it was a good showing by the Pistons. They just were more hungry yesterday, and it showed.
They were more hungry, and what's up with Atlanta? I always felt after that run last year to the Eastern Conference Finals, when you extend a coach the way they did, this is a guy that took over midway into the season, you give him that big contract. It was always hard, and I'm not sure what Atlanta fans are thinking right now, but this is just an outside perspective. You're really not that team that you were last year. You're very inconsistent at the moment, and that's with Clint Capella. That's with Trae Young. That's with the players that you have available to you, and it's a good roster. It's good enough to be a playoff team in the East, but Atlanta's got to answer the same questions Detroit is going to answer. Who's going to be Trae Young's number 2? Or is he going to leave? Who's going to be Cade Cunningham's number 2? Is it going to be Saddiq Bey, or are you going to draft him in this upcoming draft? So many questions, but last night, Pistons take care of business against the Hawks. Cade Cunningham, if he could get to the free throw line, I'm so glad somebody brought that up.
Yeah.
If Cade could even get to the free throw line, we're talking about a 20-point-a-night guy.
Yeah, easily.
This is a guy that gets to the free throw line, 2.5 times a game, if he's lucky?
Yeah.
And we have people like James Harden get into the line 15, 17 times a night.
It's ridiculous.
Hell, Scotty Barnes gets to the free throw line more often. I think it's like 4.6 times a game.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm sure Evan Mobley does as well.
There's nobody with more ball usage of the rookies than Cade. So yeah, you can argue, well, he should have better stats. Fine. But when we talk about ball usage, we talk about responsibility.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, oh, he's using the ball all the time, he's a ball hog. That applies to the Russell Westbrooks of the world. The guy that, when he has the ball, they're worse. The Pistons are better when Cade has the ball. The offense runs through him. That's the Rookie of the Year. It's not even close. The Kansas City Chiefs decided to trade Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell. I can't believe it. And they got a haul of picks. They really did. They got a haul of picks. We'll get to the Tyreek Hill trade after the break, along with what it means for the Detroit Lions and what they'll be doing at 32 or 34, possibly with the wide receiver market now becoming more of a commodity, as all the big-time wide receivers are being traded. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. We'll get to that next, but before we do, Maddy.
Yes, we do need to hear about our friends at the Sports Marketing Agency.
Yes, well, our friends from the SMA Marketing Agency are great people. They've been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for over a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. But now, with the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. So soon coming to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast called This is the F Word series on fentanyl. If you are struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Please go to thesportsma.com. Have them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there.
And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there.
Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Tyreek Hill traded to the Dolphins. The Chiefs got, 5 picks?
A
3
first,
this
a
year?
second, a third, a fourth, a future fourth, and a future sixth. Insane.
It is insane.
And they accepted both, the Jets and the Miami Dolphins, so you got to choose.
Look, Miami Dolphins, I am a very biased person right now. I'm willing to admit it. I do have a man crush on Mike McDaniel. I love the guy's swag. He's a little nerd that comes with a lot of swag. I'm rooting for him. Let me just put it that way. But the fact that they've been able to go out, the free agent signings, they got the most coveted free agent on the offensive line signed, I want to say 2-3 days ago, on a 5-year mega contract. They go out and trade for Tyreek Hill. They sign free agent Raheem Mostert. They have equipped Tua Tagovailoa with everything you could ask for a young quarterback. And do you know what that means? That means it's decision time on Tua Tagovailoa.
It's a big
Either
year.
you're going to step up and prove to the Miami Dolphins organization that you can be a legitimate quarterback in this league, or you're out, bitch.
Do you honestly think he can be, though?
Do I think he can be the franchise guy? No.
I don't think so either.
One concern I have too, and our guy Flannel Sam brought it up in the booth, and it's actually a great point. Like, Tua's never been really a deep down the field thrower of the football. Now you got really three guys, because Gesicki's runs like a 4.58, 4.54. So now you have three guys that are speedsters. You have Jalen Waddle, obviously Tyreek Hill. You got speed in the backfield. It's going to be interesting to see the fit. I really am. I mean, I think the Waddle averaged like 9 yards a catch. So if they can get Tyreek Hill the ball downfield, like this isn't Patrick Mahomes' arm, obviously, but no excuses for Tua. I think this year is a big, big year for him. I would pick them second in the division behind the Bills. I would probably go as far as that. Now, a rookie coach against Bill Belichick, I get the concerns, but in terms of roster, they have a formidable defense. They brought back, at least they re-signed and brought back the Armstead, left tackle, signed him to a big contract. They brought in Tyreek Hill. They signed Chase Edmonds. So they're building a roster down there in Miami. No state tax, so Tyreek Hill ended up benefiting out of that. But my concern is the fit itself, because Tua, really, at least his first 2 years in the NFL, haven't really shown much of a, I'm going to throw this thing down the field and see what happens. He's just a safe quarterback. He's a game manager. So maybe he can open up a little bit this year, and we'll see. Yeah,
not a fan of Tua. Maddy, to answer your question, I don't think he can be the franchise guy for Miami. And you're going to see a lot of that this upcoming year. And, again, how does this all affect the Lions? The Giants will be in the market unless Daniel Jones significantly improves under Brian Daboll, which I don't think anybody expects. He'll probably get a little better. But you're going to end up wanting to get your franchise guy in New York. You're going to end up wanting to get the franchise guy in Miami. And Miami has a roster that can win you 10, 11 games. But what are they going to do to move up? They still have decent draft capital, just like the Detroit Lions. And I think that's what's going to make next season so interesting. And as the weeks go on and the season starts, you're really going to have to look yourselves in the mirror if you're the Kansas City Chiefs and say, well, how do we replace Tyreek Hill? What does that do for our need at wide receiver? Are we going to draft one in the first round? Well, I'd expect them to, just like I expect the Browns to, just like I expect possibly the Green Bay Packers to, if they'd use their brains for once. So that's what I'd expect. And how does that affect the Detroit Lions' their ability to draft the wide receiver they'd like? Well, it impacts it dearly. It really does. But I have a surprise for both of you and everybody watching at home. I just want you to close your eyes for 1 second. Maddy and Jeff, please close your eyes. Just come on, trust me. Close your eyes. All right. Now, what I want you to do is envision Tua Tagovailoa throwing bombs.
Nope, I already lost it.
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up, close your eyes, and shut the hell up. Tua Tagovailoa throwing bombs to Tyreek Hill. Alex, if you would. You guys can have a look at the screen now. Look at this bomb. Look at this throw. Tua drops back. Beautiful throw. Oh, my goodness. Can we rewind that? Can we see his ability to read coverage down the field? Look at this play action. Absolute missile. 20 yards downfield. Oh, it's the opposing team. Anyways, I don't know how the Tua Tyreek Hill thing is going to work. I really don't. But what it does guarantee is that we now have the Packers. We have maybe even the Jets considering it. The Browns, the Packers, the Chiefs. There are going to be a lot of teams. I could argue 6 wide receivers go in the first round before the Lions pick at number 32. And Jeff, my question is, what do you do at the wide receiver position? Is it now off the board at 32, 34, considering, I expect a lot of these receivers to go away. We talked about Jahan Dotson being available at 34. Boy, he feels like a good fit for me in Kansas City at 28. Just saying. The Packers have 2 first-round picks. They're likely going after 1 wide receiver. Wide receivers are going to get taken, guys. Drake London, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. They're going to be off the board. Nice and early. Then what? Jeff, how does this affect the Detroit Lions with picks 32 and 34? I know we've been on the take defense. But if a wide receiver is available, take a chance. But to me, it doesn't seem like a wide receiver is going to be available.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Kansas City's probably going to take a wide receiver at that 29 pick. They have 29 and 30. And you already know there's teams in the first round that need wide receivers. I could see like 5 wide receivers going in the first round, which is just crazy. That's how the NFL is nowadays. And that's probably going to make the Lions really force their hand to go the first 3 picks defense. And that's fine with me. I don't really have much of an issue. I think you'll find a receiver at 66, at least some receiver, whether it's David Bell, whether it's hopefully Christian Watson. But again, like 29, the Chiefs are trying to at least patch up. Their number 1 wide receiver right now is Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, think about that for a second. Out of all the moves made in the AFC West, the Chiefs got Juju Smith-Schuster. That's their big splash. So they got to figure something out at that position, but they will, I'm sure. I mean, listen, they paying a wide receiver $30 million at least now. Like, the Chiefs understand we're going to have the best quarterback in our division for probably the next 12 to 15 years. So the smart, logical route would be I'm not going to go ahead and pay Tyreek Hill the $30 million. So I got no issue on it. I really don't. Miami, though, it does make them incredibly better. I will say it myself, guys. As much questions as I like to bring up about Tua Tagovailoa, it doesn't. I mean, he's going to win games. He's a good quarterback. I want to see more out of him in terms of really that deep ball. So we haven't seen it since college. And I understand they didn't have much of a deep threat, but Jalen Waddle, at least last year, caught a lot of his passes, at least intermediate. And Tyreek can do the same thing. Like, you can take a slant to the house. You can take an in route to the house. Like, that's the best part about Tyreek is speed, and they have speed. The yards after catch on this team are going to be incredible. So hopefully it makes Tua that much better. But he is a game manager.
I have a question.
He'll win
for
games.
You.
He'll win some games.
Would you consider trading one of those future picks?
Yeah.
Or maybe even possibly a 2nd and a 5th if you're Miami for Jimmy Garoppolo? He's familiar with Mike McDaniel. That's his former OC in San Francisco. They're going to play a very similar style. Not much is changing. He's going to have more dynamic weapons on the offensive side of the ball with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, on top of Miami likely looking to replicate the run game and run style that San Francisco does. That's why they went out and got a tackle. That's why they went out and signed Raheem Mostert. If I'm Miami, I'm on the phone. I'm calling John Lynch. John, listen, man. We hired your OC. You got a compensatory pick. Hook me up, baby. I'm going to send you a 2nd-round pick and a 4th-round pick. Give me Jimmy Garoppolo. And Miami fans, I'm not sure how they feel about Tua. I'm not sold. I'm not a fan. I would make that call today. And I would make that deal today. You give me Jimmy Garoppolo on the Miami Dolphins, year 1 under Mike McDaniel, they compete for that division. They have a good roster.
They do.
The defense, we've seen it under Flores. If you give me 70% of what that defense was last year, with the 50-80% upgrade I truly believe they will have on offense this year, that's an 11-win team. And they're going to give problems to everybody, not only in that division, but I could argue they're going to be a tough out for any AFC team. I know the AFC is so dominant right now, so quarterback heavy, but Jimmy Garoppolo is coming off an NFC championship game. He's 3 years removed from a Super Bowl. The guy can get you there if you do all the legwork around him, right? He's one of those guys. That's fine. You can win with that, clearly. Mike McDaniel, you go get that quarterback. You're going to be competing on a whole new level. Jeff?
It's an interesting conversation. I think my only problem, a couple things. I think the biggest positive of that, if it were to get done, would be the experience. You have Jimmy G, who's playing a lot of big games, and I get all of that. You have a team ready to win now, so you'd rather go with the guy who has the experience in championship games. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's won Super Bowls, obviously not starting, but he has a lot of experience. So I get all of that. But to kind of give up on Tua already, and that's the problem. They're very similar quarterbacks in terms of style. They're both game managers. I mean, it's just one has more experience. I think Tua might have a little more upside. You really don't know. He's not a finished product yet, but I honestly can't argue with you there in terms of experience. I think it would be better for them if they want to win right now. Jimmy G's the better quarterback, but if
they're making moves to win now, right?
Yes. But you could still win now with Tua, but how far can he go?
Can I ask you a question?
How far can he go?
I would argue not only are they trying to win now, if I'm a GM and I take over any NFL franchise and there is a young quarterback there, I am going to move heaven and earth to surround him with quality players. Why? I need to know what's your ceiling,
well, that's
man.
what they're doing, yeah.
Right?
But
I have the same thing with head coaches. If I don't know what your ceiling is, like a Zach Taylor was a few years ago, I'm not ready to fire you yet. Now, if I just think you're a really bad coach or you're a really bad quarterback, well, it's easy for me to move on. But if you've shown glimpses, you haven't been supported enough. I'm looking at Tua now like, I just got you Tyreek Hill, a dominant tackle. You're going to have a better run game. I swear to God, if you can't win with this Tua, I'm shipping you to Baker Mayfield land. Which is fine. I don't mind it. But if I'm also the Miami GM, I haven't been feeling this good about my roster in a long time. I'm also on a rookie contract with Tua. So I can afford a Tyreek Hill and pay him. But if I bring in Jimmy G, that may hinder a little bit. Who knows?
Especially when they're, again, it's the experience, I think, is the big
But
difference.
I think if they get Jimmy G, they're a 10-win team minimum. And that's going to put them in contention for that division.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick. The Buffalo Bills.
Did they win 9-10 games 2 years ago with Tua?
No, they won on and off.
He wasn't like
There
fully
was like
there.
it was a million quarterbacks going in
but
and out.
But still, no, I get your premise though. I think experience, they're trying to win now.
They won games with Tua. That's not their issue.
Yeah.
The issue with Tua is he that guy? And when you spend a number 3 overall pick, you're not expecting to get, I don't know, Ryan Tannehill in return. Tua's fine, but can he make the throws more consistently? Can he play in the big games? And don't talk to me about, he won games last year, because he won a game where he threw less than 40 yards and threw 2 interceptions. But because the backup came in and saved the day, the rest is history. Come on. I'm willing to acknowledge quarterback wins and all this stuff. We can have a conversation. Tua has yet to prove he's the franchise guy. You go out and get Jimmy G if you think you have a Super Bowl roster, and you know what? I know the AFC is stacked. You could maybe make the argument they should wait and go after the franchise quote-unquote guy next year, but that's a hell of a team they got. They're assembling a hell of a roster. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, one of my favorite people is joining us here on the Morning Woodward Show. Jay from Let's Talk Lions. I'm a big fan of his. Maddy, his voice is mesmerizing. I talk to you about this all the time. I have an obsession / an issue, so I'm working on addressing it.
Okay, well, we'll try to keep you off of him when he joins us after the break. But before we go, Jeff, could you please tell us about Lady Jane's?
Yes, well, guys, as you know, we broadcast live from the headquarters of Lady Jane's located in Birmingham, Michigan, and it is definitely awesome to get off the air and get myself looking good by one of their talented stylists. That's why I recommend you get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men near you. Let them treat you like a king, too. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime because it is wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Mornings in Detroit just got bigger. Starting April 4th, Terry Foster joins the Morning Woodward Show. That's right, the Motor City icon is now going to be on Woodward Sports every morning. So make sure you're waking up 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily to hear the Detroit legend along with Adham right here on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I know Adham is way more excited than he usually is this early in the morning because the love of his life is joining us. We've got Jay here from Let's Talk Lions. Jay, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you
Oh,
can.
man, you sexy looking guy. Look at this guy. Look at him.
Get out of
He's
here.
got the voice, he's got the look, he's got the hair. What am I doing with my life? God damn it. Jimmy G's got competition now.
No way. But I'll tell you what, man, this morning I woke up, I said I have an option. I can wear a hat or I can let the hair flow, and so I did it for you.
You cannot wear a hat with that kind of hair.
I appreciate it, Jay. You're the best. All right.
Yeah.
Jay, let's get started. First and foremost, I need to ask you, all of the goddamn trades, off-season signings, everything that's going on around the NFL, what is your perception and your take on how Brad Holmes and the Lions have operated so far this offseason? Is it a little too quiet for you? Are you happy with the depth signings, or did you want to see more? Are you looking for that splash free agent signing like a Marcus Williams a few weeks ago?
Listen, man, I'm going to relate this to everything I ever do in life, and that's Lord of the Rings, right? When you get the Fellowship of the Ring and you push them to Mordor, you do it quietly, right? That's what I love about Brad Holmes. That's what I love. I love our free agency signings this offseason. I love this offseason in general. Brad Holmes has been absolutely killing it, in my opinion, when it comes to the rebuild. Because how often in the past do you see the big splashes way too early? You sign a contract like Trey Flowers for far too much money, far too long, and it only comes back to bite you. So I really love what Brad Holmes is doing.
All right. My God, I just lost my voice for a second. Thanks for joining us, Jay, number one.
Hey, thank you.
And number two, I got to ask you a question regarding Malik Willis. We saw the pro day 2 days ago, had a magnificent showing. And now coming out today, we're having the discussion, Lions Twitter having the discussion. You have the number 2 pick. And if you like a guy, people say you take him anywhere if you like him. What is your take on the quarterback class this year with the Lions? Should they go for one? Should they not? Focus on building the team. Where do you stand right now on it?
I don't want a QB. Definitely don't want a QB. Yeah, and Malik Willis is really tough. It's like, if I have to, when you watch his pro day and he comes out and he balls out, at number 2, I don't want him. And I know it's something we'll probably get into it, what I do want. But when I look at the quarterback class as a whole, there's nobody luring me, especially while we're sitting at number 2. And if you don't love somebody at number 2, if you do not love a quarterback at 2, I don't think you spend that pick on him.
Jay, I mean, that is probably one of the better answers I've gotten out of people at number 2. It's very important to understand, and I hope Lions fans go into this. The hype for Malik Willis, unfortunately, it's come at the worst time. It's come after the regular season. It's come after the college football playoff. It's come after everything you're supposed to evaluate outside of the guy in short shorts throwing 70-yard bombs, which is fascinating. Don't get me wrong, but I got to ask you, Kyle Hamilton, number 2 overall, what does that look like for you? Is that something you're considering, something you'd be happy with? And more importantly, would you be very disappointed if we're having this conversation 3, 4, 5 weeks from now and the Detroit Lions have selected Kyle Hamilton number 2 overall?
You know, it's very possible that we will be sitting together when we watch this go down. Kyle Hamilton is a freak athlete. He really is. When you watch him play and what he's able to do, he really is incredible. However, again, I'm just going to say, and I know I'm probably going to pip a few people off here, I don't want Kyle Hamilton at 2. I don't. I want Aiden Hutchinson, okay? Because for me, when I look at Kyle Hamilton, again, freak athlete, he's phenomenal out there, capable of much, and he's going to make a team really happy. I just don't see it as the Detroit Lions at number 2. I don't want it at number 2, and the reason being is one of my greatest, what I want the most is to apply pressure to the quarterback. Because for years now, it feels like I have been stranded in the desert watching the opposing QB playing Dance Dance Revolution behind the line. And we can't get there. We can't get to the quarterback. And so it gives them all day. The wide receivers are able to shake the DBs. They get open. And it's just a nightmare. And so that is why I want Aiden Hutchinson. Now, granted, Hutch might not be there. However, Kyle Hamilton just doesn't feel like the right move because without applying pressure, what good is going to come from getting Kyle Hamilton if we can't apply the proper pressure to the QB?
Jay, I think you're spot on with that assessment, and that's why I've been preaching, and I've been really trying my best to communicate this the best I can, which is draft the cocaine. I've been on this for weeks now, and I truly believe if the Lions, guys, you have to understand in life, if you want to do blow, you got to have access to the blow. If there's no cocaine on this table, I can't do a line of coke. So what do I need to do? I need to get the cocaine. Lions, get the cocaine. You need a pass rush. You've been bottom of the league for 6, 7, 8 years now.
Yeah.
Go and get a pass rush. And Jay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this has been my argument against Kyle Hamilton because I can't knock the prospect. I think we can all agree he's phenomenal. But my question is, would you trade the number 2 overall pick today for TJ Watt?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have not considered that. Yeah, I would.
And here comes the second part of that question that's going to make you think a little bit more, and I think you're going to have the answer. Would you trade the number 2 overall pick for Jesse Bates, Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the better top safeties in the league?
Nah.
That's the point I'm trying to make this whole time with Kyle Hamilton. Again, he's going to be a phenomenal player. There's more value at edge. And if you can get your hands on an Aiden Hutchinson, you want to go for Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't care who. I'd rather my GM miss going for a must-needed guy. Like, I can't blame guys for going after quarterbacks. I can't blame GMs. Like, you have to hit on these.
Right.
You have to get these guys. If you don't have them on your team, you're useless. What do you think, the Steelers were winning football games last year because of Minkah Fitzpatrick only? No, TJ Watt was dominating the field, Defensive Player of the Year. You need a guy that can get to the quarterback. That is the ultimate counter to a Patrick Mahomes, to an Aaron Rodgers, to a Tom Brady. That, Jay, is how I believe the Lions will improve their football team, and that's why I always say draft the cocaine.
Well, absolutely, dude. And like, there's a level of allure. There's like a level of when you're looking at talent, I think, during the draft, where it's like, it's almost like lust versus love. I was saying this the other day. Like, you got all these people lusting after this talent. Oh, Kyle Hamilton. Oh, look at Malik Willis's deep ball. But like, you want to be in love. You want to be in love, and that's where I look at Aiden Hutchinson as a guy who's going to stick around for years, and he's going to be vital to that line.
And from the next question, actually, it kind of goes into Aiden Hutchinson because obviously number 1 on our boards in terms of at number 2 is Aiden Hutchinson. You got to take him. That's at least, it doesn't matter about the product and the upside. That's the guy. But if he goes number 1, Jay, what the hell do you do? Who's your guy at number 2? Because it makes the conversation a little more interesting, but we still end up favoring the edge rusher, of course. But what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm actually in a similar boat. I mean, for me, it's Hutchinson, but if he goes number 1 to the Jags, I would love to find a trade back partner. However, it takes 2 to tango, yeah? So if there's nobody to trade back with at that point, I'm going Thibodeau. I just have to.
My guy.
As much as I have some issues with the character, it was a long day at the combine, like whatever, like as much as I have issues with that, I think he's also a great athlete, would be a great fit, and we could plug him in and see a lot of success from him. So that's where I'd go. If there's no Hutch, I'm going Thibodeau.
Absolutely. And you know what? This came up in the chat. I remember people said you don't draft a tight end in the top 10. And then, of course, we had T.J. Hawkinson and most recently, obviously, Kyle Pitts. Well, guys, tight ends in today's NFL are extensions of the wide receiver position. They are so valuable. If you have a Travis Kelce, a Mark Andrews, that improves your offense so much, and they're so valuable to the quarterback. But, Jay, to my last point and my takeaway from our entire conversation, and the question I'm going to ask you is, I already referenced the opportunity to trade for a franchise guy like a TJ Watt, let's say, right? A franchise-changing player. And you wouldn't do it at the safety position. At 32 and 34, what are you doing with those picks? Is it safety linebacker? Is it wide receiver safety, wide receiver linebacker, another edge rusher? Because a lot of people are talking about how deep, quote-unquote deep, this defensive edge class is, which is fair to say also, meaning there's higher risk the higher you go on the board. And do you trust Brad Holmes to be able to draft somebody like a TJ Watt at 32? That would be ideal, and you do trust him, but What are you doing at 32 and 34? Are you going after the safety and a linebacker, or are you trying to sneak in that sexy wide receiver?
No, I'm going safety linebacker for sure. I think safety specifically, this is where Kyle Hamilton, and I understand a lot of the like, oh, we should get him, because who are we pairing with Tracy Walker right now? You know, and if we could get somebody in the draft and get them, whether it's this year or halfway through this season, somebody like a Daxton Hill or even Lewis, what's his last name? Is it Sinna?
Scene or yeah, something like that.
Lewis Sign, yeah.
Sign. Oh, that's one of those 5 options. Yeah, I'd either go. I go with one of those 2 guys because I think that there is a lot of value in it, and I love having 32, 34. I think that's such like a sweet spot to be in, because then you got Dean out of Georgia, who I also love. I think he would be a great fit in the linebacker room now that we brought back Anzalone, and with the new addition as well. Chris Board, yeah. So
yep.
Yeah, so I'm going safety linebacker to answer your question, to make that clear. Yeah.
What do you? I have one more question. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Jay.
That's good, man.
I'm a big fan of Leo Chenal. Obviously, the second highest PFF rating coming out of college for a linebacker since obviously Micah Parsons. Is that a guy you're looking at 32, 34? And I want to ask you a contract question. Are you taking a safety or a linebacker at 32? And if there's an edge rusher you're in love with at the end of the first, early second round, are you going back-to-back edges?
I wouldn't go back-to-back edges, no. I just feel like that's going a little deep into the pool. I think I would rather get the linebacker first at 32, because I don't know if Jacksonville needs a safety in that point. So due to the contracts, I'd go 32 linebacker, 34 safety. And then really the linebacker that I do want is Dean, and I think he'll drop that far. I do. So that would be my decision there.
And before you go, I got one question, and death is not an option. All right, death is not an option. All right, so
it's liberty.
Goes right for it.
Yeah, I like it. Death is not an option. So, what would you be more surprised about? All right, Lions taking Malik at 2, Kyle Hamilton at 2, or Jordan Davis at 2?
Ooh, Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis would be wild. Yeah, I don't see that, but I'll tell you what. I really do think, like at this moment, I really think the Lions will take Kyle Hamilton. I'm afraid of it. I hate it. I think it's going to happen. You know, I had a conversation with another Lions YouTuber the other day, Joseph Dion, great guy, and he started to sway me in that direction of looking at what Detroit is, kind of the scenario we're in. So I'm a little worried that we do take Kyle Hamilton. But, yeah, the weirdest one would be Jordan Davis.
All right. Good. Jay, I can't thank you enough. I hope that the Lions do draft Jordan Davis or Kyle Hamilton now, because I will take you to the Ambassador Bridge with me, and we'll both jump off together. That way I don't die alone.
Okay, all right. Done deal. Hey, guys, thank you for having me on. You guys have such an awesome show, and I love being a part of it.
Thanks,
we
Jay.
love you,
He's
Jay.
awesome.
Thanks so much for copping on. Guys, that's Jay from Let's Talk Lions. Check him out on his YouTube channel, Let's Talk Lions. I have to say his voice is absolutely mesmerizing. I can't get enough of it. I will say it till I die. I don't care. Thank you so much, Jay. He's the man. I love Lions. Jay. Oh, man. Let's go to break. When we get back, can Cade Cunningham be what Isaiah Thomas was for the Detroit Pistons all those years ago? Jeff and I will make our cases why we believe so after the break. Maddy?
Yes, before we go, we do need to hear about our friends at Cintron.
Yes, well, guys, Cintron is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and is exclusively served at the home of the Rookie of the Year, Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Wing Snob, guys, I don't give a damn. It's 8:45 a.m. Get to Wing Snob. They got delicious wings. I know y'all are craving it. Screw breakfast. Breakfast is overrated. Wings are not.
I don't eat breakfast. I eat wings and pizza.
You heard fish. Fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. Wing Snob has the best traditional wings. Try out their signature sauces. They even have the Jamaican jerk or the lemon pepper. And when the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. So check out Wing Snob at wingsnob.com. Wing Snob, we just have better wings.
How do you not? Pizza and wings. And football.
All right, I got a special surprise for all of you at 9:40.
Oh, wow.
We have a guest joining. Just got it booked. 9:40 to talk about some breaking news with the Detroit Lions and Malik Willis.
I don't like how you set that up.
I don't either.
Is Corey coming in to tell us?
No, it's not Corey.
I also don't trust
it is
you
not
ever.
Corey. No, I'm being so serious.
Don't do that.
So we're going to have a very good friend, not only of the network, but the show as well. This is a guy that, I'll put it this way. He knew all the first 6 picks of last year's draft before anybody on Twitter or at home did. I'll put it that way. So we got our good
he's
friend.
doing Mel Kiper's job better than him.
We got Scott Bischoff coming in at 9:40. I'm excited.
Scott?
Scott Bischoff coming in.
He's the man.
Scott Bischoff coming in at 9:40. That's going to be fun. But here we go, Jeff. I'm going to let you make your case because I do believe me and you are going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Given, obviously, I'm a bit older than you, and Isaiah Thomas was more of me growing up with my dad, and for you, it's kind of you're learning from history, and it's your perspective is going to be so different than mine. But talk to me, can Cade Cunningham be what Isaiah Thomas was for the Detroit Pistons all those years ago?
I think that the similarities I see is, especially now, the thing I see Cade Cunningham having in common with Isaiah Thomas is that leadership factor. Like, guys followed their lead. You saw it with Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys. He was the leader of that team. They followed as Isaiah went. As he played well, the team played well. That's kind of what I see with the Pistons as well. Like Cade Cunningham, different players, but obviously both point guards, different size. Obviously, Cade's got like 6 inches on him. But you've seen it with Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys. They won back-to-back championships. Now in this era, for the Pistons at least, he's definitely, I don't know if I'm not saying he's going to win back-to-back championships, but he is definitely the best thing in terms of impact on the court that we've had through the draft. I mean, Grant Hill was a tremendous player, but Grant Hill isn't going to lead you to a championship. I believe Cade can do that, just like Isaiah Thomas. And just name off the facts, he's likable, he's incredibly selfish, players want to play with him, and he can hoop, which is the most important part. And the Pistons got a gem. We know this. He's the best player in the draft, but more importantly, he's just one of those players. Like, the difference between him and Jalen Green is players will go play with Jalen Green, and have to wonder, am I taking the shot or is Jalen Green taking the shot? With Cade Cunningham, Cade's willing to give you the shot, but also Cade can take over a game. So there's the difference. And Isaiah Thomas had to kind of learn to be more unselfish, and Cade's kind of already coming out the gate unselfish. So there are some differences, but the similarities I see is Cade can be the reason why the Pistons are able to hang up another banner. I believe that. Like, already his rookie year, what he's showing us, and I get it, it's hard to win in any league, let alone the NBA. I mean, you got all this competition now, especially with these super teams, and it's a different era. But the only point I'm trying to make in terms of comparing them, and it's not a legacy thing, but just the terms of players playing with them and following their lead. Like, Cade is no doubt, when he's not on the floor, they're 2-14. So there you go. There's the importance of Cade Cunningham on the court, and with Isaiah Thomas not on the court, they never stood a chance. So there's the similarities I see, is the impact they have on the floor, players wanting to not only just follow their lead, but want to come play with them. And I think that's the difference as well. I mean, Isaiah Thomas back in the day, nobody liked the Bad Boys, but now with Cade Cunningham, the persona's changed, and I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of players are going to want to come play with. So the similarities I see when comparing them is just, I don't know if he's going to win a championship, but if they do, he's going to be the biggest reason why they win a championship. And I haven't been this positive my entire lifetime. It really is.
I will say, this is the first Pistons rookie since Grant Hill where you look at him like he can change the franchise. He can bring you back to that level. But Isaiah Thomas is the second greatest point guard of all time. Ever. Isaiah Thomas came into the league and handled the ball in ways nobody was doing at the time. Isaiah Thomas could score with a jumper. He could get to the free throw line. He could score, obviously did a lot of work in the paint. He could hit the occasional three. Not only was he a born leader, he was a man. And Isaiah Thomas is the reason you have the memories of the bad boy Pistons. Isaiah Thomas is the reason you have the going to work Pistons. He started that mentality. And again, along with all of his teammates, absolutely, I understand. But when we're talking about a superstar, a guy that can change your franchise, do we believe Cade can do it? Yes, we do believe that.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
He's been playing very well. But to do what Isaiah Thomas did, and I just want to give a little context on Isaiah Thomas. This is the guy that went up against basically one of the greatest teams ever in the Boston Celtics during the 80s. He went toe-to-toe with Michael Jordan in his early on in his prime. That was Isaiah Thomas. That was his competition, Magic Johnson and the Lakers. And it's not to demean anybody, but when we talk about Isaiah Thomas, we're talking about a complete basketball player, a guy that could facilitate, score, lead by example. He was a killer. He would get you clutch buckets. That was Isaiah Thomas. He is 1 in a billion. And can Cade do that? Maybe. And you're optimistic and you're hopeful of that. But it's tough for me to even have that genuine conversation. One, he is a rookie, right? I don't think it's fair to Cade, but more importantly, we need to understand who we're talking about. And we're talking about one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever play basketball.
Absolutely.
And that's Isaiah Thomas. So, I do want to clarify one thing. Why I tell you the going to work Pistons don't exist without Isaiah Thomas is because Isaiah Thomas and the bad boy Pistons allowed a team like the going to work Pistons to eventually exist. That grit mentality, that get it done, team basketball. You know, it's funny, we always talk about stars, individuals. When we talk about Isaiah Thomas, it's funny how we talk about the Pistons with the Isaiah Thomas, the bad boy Pistons. We're not just talking about Isaiah Thomas. Nobody gives a crap about the Bulls. They haven't been to the finals since Michael Jordan. You care about Michael.
Right.
Nobody cares about Cleveland. You care about LeBron. Nobody even cares about Utah. You care about Malone and Stockton. When we talk about Isaiah Thomas, this was the embodiment of a superstar, team-first guy. And there's only been one player, in my opinion, that has been that genuine and team-first above any other superstar since Isaiah Thomas, and that's only Steph Curry. And it's funny how they both play the point guard position. Isaiah Thomas was the leader on the basketball court, off the basketball court. He was the leader vocally. He was the leader through play. He was the heart and soul of the freaking city, man. And everything Detroit has had up until now with the Pistons is because of the work he put in and because of that night that they drafted him. So as much as I'd like to say Isaiah Thomas, or excuse me, Cade Cunningham, can be what Isaiah Thomas was for the Pistons, I don't think Cade, unless he delivers 3 titles.
No, and that's
you know what I mean. Like
that's where
there's such a significant difference in impact. Can Cade be a superstar player and win championships? Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
all I'm saying. Yeah, it's
but
not.
Can
like,
he be the franchise guy that Isaiah was?
No.
You hope so.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say you're optimistic that he can be, but. When we talk about Isaiah Thomas, this is a guy that took a franchise that was meaningless.
Yeah, that's where you got to. It's getting touchy because
it's tough.
It's touchy because if I say there's similarities, like it's like, well, Isaiah, I get all that. Isaiah Thomas, I'm not saying he's going to have the same impact. You're wrong. You can't argue that. Like Isaiah, what he did for the Bad Boys, especially during that time and taking the Pistons to back-to-back championships, you can never do that. But what Cade can do is bring hope to the city. And that's what the argument is for me. Like, since Isaiah Thomas, and I get it, Grant Hill, he deserves a mention, Grant Hill. But I'm talking about, could there be a chance that Cade is the reason why you win championships? That's the similarities I draw, and I say yes. And can he be the leader on and off the court? Yes. Can he be the face of the city? Yes. But can he have the impact Isaiah Thomas had? I don't think so, because it was just, there's so much of a storyline with Isaiah Thomas. Cade's just cool, calm, and collected. There's nothing going on with Cade. He's just there. He just should show up and get buckets. Like that's essentially who he is. But I think the impact can be similar in the fact that Cade can be your best player on a championship team. He could be your leader on and off the court.
Can we check off some boxes with Cade?
Yes, check them off.
So put Cade and Isaiah side by side. Are they both unselfish?
Yes.
Check. Are they both a pass-first player?
Isaiah turned into
essentially.
Yeah,
they both are in theory, right? The way they play
there
in the position they play. Mm-hmm. Can they both get you a bucket?
Yes.
Can you rely on them in the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Again, that is why Cade Cunningham is so fascinating. But when we bring up Isaiah Thomas, we are talking about the greatest Detroit Piston ever. Not only the greatest Detroit Piston ever, hell, to this day, man, I must be on drugs because I always say Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time. I got to change that one of these days. Isaiah Thomas deserves so much more credit
he does.
Than what he's gotten in the league. So
especially nationally, like the disrespect.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And when we talk again one more time about Cade Cunningham, he checks boxes that you want to see out of a young emerging star player.
Absolutely.
And can he become that? I do believe Cade Cunningham can deliver success to Detroit that you haven't seen consistently since Isaiah Thomas. But it's a different league now. And I don't think Cade will ever be good enough unless he can be like a LeBron, where you can just show up to a franchise, get a bunch of shooters around you, and carry a team to the finals.
Yeah, that's just not the NBA anymore.
I don't think that's the case.
No, it's not the NBA.
Can Saddiq Bey develop into a better player? Hopefully. They'll have a top 3 pick this year, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And you see where it goes from there. But Cade Cunningham, the fact that we're having this conversation, I think should make all Detroit Pistons fans very, very excited. Maddy, let's take a quick break. When we get back, the question that will be front page news for the next 3-4 weeks: what should the Detroit Lions do with the number 2 overall pick? Should they trade back? Should they go after Kyle Hamilton? Should they draft Malik Willis? Jordan Davis, some people suggest. Hell, Nakobe Dean has even been brought up before. One of these days, I might lose my shit.
Well, I hope that day is not today because I'm just not here for it today. I don't want to clean up that mess. But, Jeff, before we go, can you please tell us about Guardian Alarm?
Yes, we talk about defense and how valuable that defense side of the ball is. Well, Guardian Alarm, they get it. They value it. Good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm also has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with better and 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features to let you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, even detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock doors. Call 800-STAY-OUT today. That's 800-STAY-OUT.
Get out, leave behind.
You hear fish, get out. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Baseball, beer, babes, more beer. Opening day live from Brass Rail and Music Hall Amphitheater with Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on the Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. I know what would piss Adham off this morning if the Lions took Kyle Hamilton at number 2.
I am stuck between a rock and a hard place because I want the Lions to trade out. I think we can all, as Lions fans, pray to the football gods that, you can trade back with either, an Atlanta, a Seattle, whoever that wants to come up and get a quarterback. But the interesting part about it, and the part that I'm a little fearful of, is the Lions staying pat at number 2. And if they stay pat at number 2, I've already said my opinion. I think they should still go after the edge rusher, Kayvon Thibodeau, because I don't want this guy to jump off the Ambassador Bridge with Kyle Hamilton or Malik Willis. But the point
Allegedly.
is, who's going to trade up? So who's going to trade up to take Malik Willis? Because they could take him where they stand. Carolina could take him at 6 if the Lions do not take him. Atlanta can take him at 8 if the Lions do not take, or the Carolina Panthers pass on him. Like this, it depends. It's going to be a competition. If Atlanta feels Carolina's in love with him, maybe we get a trade partner with Atlanta. But again, guys, like it's edge rusher or bust. I've been saying that. Kayvon Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker, I like them all. I would rather have them, at least right now, fixing these issues on the Lions right now, getting after the quarterback. You've seen how impactful that is come postseason. I mean, this as much safeties. Listen, safeties are a luxury pick. We know this. But if you really want to make an impact or get after the opposing quarterback, look at the AFC. Look how many quarterbacks they have. The NFC is a little shy of quarterbacks. What's the number one thing? How to at least frustrate a quarterback? You get to him. All right, as much as I love Kyle Hamilton, without a pass rush, it's going to be very hard. And it should go edge rusher at number 2, or if you trade back, edge rusher or linebacker, depending how far you trade back. Maybe if you go get Devin Lloyd. But again, 32 and 34 should be safety or linebacker. Either order, it doesn't matter. I don't think a wide receiver will be there, but we'll see come draft day. But Adham, I think the number one option, everyone will mutually agree, you trade back. But will they trade back, and who's trading up? That's the question.
I think the ideal trade partner right now that I could envision, if I'm the GM, I am considering it, is Atlanta. I think they're a shit show right now. I think the GM is absolutely an idiot. And on top of that, they do need a quarterback. So Atlanta seems like the one team that could make the jump 6 spots. Having said that, everybody wants to trade back. Fine. It likely will not happen, even though we're all rooting for it. So then what? Well, I've been saying it for how long now? Draft
the
cocaine. Say it with me, Fish. Draft
the Fish. Say it.
Draft the.
Say it.
Say it, Fish.
Say the cocaine.
Draft the cocaine. Say it.
Draft the cocaine.
There you go. We got it. Fish approved and stamped.
Well,
so what do you guys want to
but...
achieve out of this draft? You want to draft the cocaine. Now, what does that mean? For me, it means draft an edge rusher. But for some, it may mean draft Kyle Hamilton. It may mean draft Malik Willis. See, we all have our own types of cocaine. It doesn't have to be the same. But my cocaine is an edge rusher. I think it is a must. It must happen. And yes, it could happen at 32, 34. Hell, even 66 as well. But what the Lions should do, and number 2 overall, is if there is no trade back, and there is a scenario where Aiden Hutchinson is on the board, you take Aiden Hutchinson. If there is the scenario that plays out that he's off the board, then you have to consider Kayvon Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker. What is so funny? Maddy is just pissing herself laughing right now.
I'm not. I'm just giggling. I wheeze sometimes.
It's just you sitting there. Like by yourself, like laughing. About what?
Why are you making fun of people?
I'm not. That's how she laughed. Look. Keep the camera on her. That's how she laughs. It's not me.
I hate when you do this. I wheeze when I try not to laugh out loud.
It's okay. I'm a horrible laugher. I don't think my laugh is cute at all.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah, I know. Haha. Oh God.
How much stock do you take into this too? Because I think about this a lot with Brad Holmes.
What's up?
Coming from the Rams, they've never taken a safety in the first round. Hell no. Do you think that matters as well? Like people.
He comes from the school of how to find value later on in the
and they
draft.
always find him in the second round.
And they always do. Cooper Cupps, Cam Akers.
Yeah. Jordan Fuller.
They have found all these players gains. The interior linemen. They have found quality players later on. He comes from that mold. He found Amon-Ra St. Brown at a position where teams are dying to get wide receivers in what round, Jeff? The first round.
Right.
He found one in the fourth. He comes from that school of thinking, not from the school of thinking that's been brought to you by Matt Millen, Martin Mayhew, that motherfucker, and then, of course, Bob Quinn, that piece of shit. Then Matt Millen, that fuck. I'm sorry. Like, what do you want me not to swear when I talk about idiots?
Yes.
You did say.
I know. I tried.
Yeah,
Look,
but we had the over/under at 5, and you
I
were
went
over
the first
that
like
by
15
a mile.
minutes without swearing. That's like a record.
Did you though?
Did I, Fish? Fish has the documentation.
Yeah,
Fish, when's
I
the
mean-
first time I swore the show?
Well, this idiot decided to swear at, what was it, 8:07? 8:35. It's not bad, 35 minutes in.
You
Not
made
terrible.
it 35 minutes?
35 minutes in. I did a damn good job.
Yeah, you did.
Well, okay, technically the first swear word was 52 minutes in.
Whoa. Wow.
So,
Wow.
that's pretty good.
It's time to have
Not
a
bad.
party.
I don't know if that involves a celebration.
Oh,
but
it does.
Okay. Does it?
But
Okay.
look, again,
I celebrate everything.
Again, I don't discriminate. I'm all about diversity. My cocaine may be an edge rusher. Jeff's may be an edge rusher as well. Your cocaine could be a quarterback. It could be a safety at number 2. At the end of the day, I'm going to ride home the draft the cocaine message because no matter who you select, I'm not going to rip on you. Whether you're a Malik Willis guy, Kyle Hamilton, I don't care. This morning, if you walk away with cocaine from the 2022 NFL first round in the draft, if you walk away with your cocaine, that means you have a foundation to build on.
Right.
Now, is that foundation Malik Willis, Kayvon Thibodeau, Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, Kyle Hamilton? Nobody has that answer right now. But you want to walk away with a guy that will build your franchise along the way with you. That is the message this that is the message this morning, at least for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why people talking about the Rams haven't had a first-round pick. I'm talking about before the last couple of years. I'm just talking about in general. I mean, Les Snead's been there for a long time, and they do find value later in the draft. But that's not even the point. Like, look around the NFL. Really, that's the true part. Screw just the Rams for a second. That's the problem I have at number 2. And I get Kyle Hamilton. Everyone's enamored by him, and I am too. Like, he's an impressive player. But at number 2, when there's so much more needs right now, you could find a Jaquan Brisker at 32, which I'm very high on. I like Jaquan Brisker, or Lewis Seen. Kyle Hamilton, I just don't think the drop-off is that much. Now, could he be generational? Yes. But again, like, I can't get on board with it, guys. I'm sorry. Like, at number 2, that would be a decision that if Brad Holmes makes, I would obviously trust him. But I'm just talking about my preference, and that's edge rusher or bust. And edge rusher being the cocaine. You need the edge rusher, whether it's Kayvon, whether it's Aiden, whether it's Trayvon. It does not matter to me, guys. But we'll see. I mean, all the top safeties right now in the NFL are all second and third round picks. I mean, that's just the reality of it. It really is. And
again,
if you can't take that with a grain of salt.
Jeff, value matters.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to talk about positional value. We're going to talk about cocaine value. You can get some high-end cocaine. It's going to come at a premium price. But it pays off in the long term. Or you can go with the low-graded stuff, and you walk away not sure if you won on the selection or not. So, you have to decide what kind of cocaine you're interested in buying at number 2 overall this year. For me, it's an edge rusher. I need to be able to get after Kirk Cousins, to get after Aaron Rodgers, to get after Justin Fields. I must be able to get to the opposing team's quarterback. And if I can't, it doesn't matter how good my corners are, it doesn't matter how good my safeties are, I will eventually be exposed. And what do you think would have been more valuable? And let me rephrase it. When the Lions' defense was playing beyond their capabilities, beyond their expectations, it was because their pass rush was starting to come together.
Right.
Hence, the week against Baltimore. Hence, the week against Green Bay. Hence, the week where they continued even against Minnesota. And it wasn't safety play that made things a hell of a lot better. It was actually corners. What did all of you talk about this year, Detroit Lions fans? You talked about Jerry Jacobs. You talked about Iffy before he got hurt. You talked about Jeff Okudah, even though he was done in the preseason. But my point is, you were talking about Awarie. And there was Chasey Walker. He's nice. But you're talking about Aquara, Charles Harris. The interior linemen you have. That's who you were talking about, not me, you. Now we want to make it about a safety? Who's more valuable, Jesse Bates or Jalen Ramsey? Jalen Ramsey. Who's, actually, you know what's funny? Who is more valuable, Patrick Surtain Jr. or Jesse Bates? Patrick Surtain Jr.
Yeah.
But both have less impact than Trey Hendrickson.
Absolutely.
Both have less impact than a Von Miller.
And
why? Because that position is hard, and no matter how gifted you are, you're going against some of the best athletes the NFL has to offer, hell, the world has to offer. You are at a disadvantage. You are reacting to their movements, to their routes, to the quarterback's eyes. And you can be so good and still get beat a majority of the time. That is the low-graded cocaine that I want all of you to avoid.
And the problem I also have is people calling Kyle Hamilton generational, like before he even steps
Everybody's
on the field.
generational before they get drafted.
That's the problem. Like, you wouldn't want a generational safety at 2. Like, well, is he generational? No one knows if any of these players are generational. All I'm saying is,
were you exact people saying that Justin Herbert was generational? I know I was. Were you saying T.J. Watt was generational? Clearly, none of you were, because 29 teams passed on him. So do me a favor. The draft is a mystery.
Yep.
All right? You can have your opinion, but don't sit there and die on a hill because there is a nice safety where the league has shifted, guys, again. Sean Taylor went 5th. Who was the kid out of Kansas City that went 5th overall? Safety. Eric Berry, right?
It's pretty good. Yeah. That's
pretty good. Is he game-changing? Did the Chiefs win because of Eric Berry and his play? Or did they win because they finally got a pass rush? Oh, and Patrick Mahomes showed up in their building. Eric Berry, right? Why did the Baltimore Ravens win all those years? Because of Ed Reed. Because of Ray Lewis. You know why? It's the 2000s, guys, where that actually had value. And not that safeties don't have value.
But there's offensively driven league.
But it's
you gotta
just
get
a
after
different
the quarterback.
game.
Yeah.
And it's more important for me to get to the quarterback than to cover a wide receiver. That is what I'm going to say to you this morning.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, which team has had the best offseason so far? I'm excited. Should be fun. The Green Bay Packers are going to have a ton of decisions to make. The Miami Dolphins are reloading. The Raiders reloading. It's going to be... There's a lot to talk about. There really is. But, Maddy, before we do, I have to talk about Gypsy Vodka, the best and smoothest tasting vodka on the market. Gypsy Vodka, guys. Michigan's vodka, gluten-free. Check them out at gypsyvodka.com. Of course, how can you forget? There's only one bottle to try. locally owned up in Petoskey, Michigan, guys. Supporting local is one of the most important things we can do here as Michiganders. Try out Gypsy Vodka, and as always, please do drink responsibly.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down!
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires and hits!
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy. And the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans.
Got it!
Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Centron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over! Anything can happen in March!
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. As we get to talk about the offseason in the NFL, which team has had the best one yet?
Well, it's for me, it's between the Chargers or the Dolphins. That's really what it comes down to. The Chargers went all in this offseason. They went from now, they're a top 5 contender in the, at least I have them 3 in the AFC in terms of contention. Honestly, they got way better. Signing J.C. Jackson, trading for Khalil Mack, and just re-signing Mike Williams. They still have the offensive pieces they had the year prior, but now they have more talent on defense. And in the AFC West, that's the most important thing, is getting after the quarterback. Speaking of getting after the quarterback and how important it is, they got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa because they know how important it is. And then they got J.C. Jackson, and they already have Derwin James in place. That's why. Like, their defense is clearly the best in the AFC West, but more importantly, I think they have the best roster. And Justin Herbert in his 3rd year, like, people are going to continue probably to talk about this team more and more. And the Chargers, Brandon Staley went 9-8. Out of all the BS, everybody likes to talk about Brandon Staley being too aggressive. And it's very true, honestly. Last year, way too aggressive at times for the talent he had. Probably should have won more games, definitely 10 games. But 9-8 with that team, and now you add Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, and Justin Herbert just continuing to get better. Brandon Staley, 2nd year as a head coach. I like the Chargers. And the second team, honestly, close in terms of offseason would have to be the Dolphins, clearly. Mike McDaniel at head coach. They signed Chase Edmonds. They went out, got Tyreek Hill. They signed Armstead at left tackle to a big contract. So it's really between those two teams, Adam. Chargers or the Dolphins. They got better. Now, the reason why I have the Chargers is because they really moved up into contention. I don't think the Dolphins are contending, at least in the AFC, but they got way better. The Chargers can legitimately contend. Like, the Bills are the best team to me in the AFC, Adam. But if the Chargers take them down, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think the team that's had the best offseason has to be the Las Vegas Raiders, on top of the Miami Dolphins. You went out and secured Devontae Adams for peanuts compared to what Tyreek Hill went for. Yeah, you paid him all that big money. It's not the biggest money in the world now. Tyreek Hill's getting paid.
Yeah.
You gave Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, a good offensive line, and a good running back, along with an offensive-minded head coach now. I like the Raiders' moves a lot. I look at Miami. They went out and got Tyreek Hill. They went out and signed Armstead in free agency to secure their offensive line. They went out and got Raheem Mostert. They're going to run the ball more effectively this year, ideally with Mike McDaniel as their head coach. They kept most of their defensive players. Miami has made, I think, just as big of a move as any other team out there. Yeah, the Chargers didn't give up much. Khalil Mack, okay, fine. It's the sexy stuff, but my God, we talk about overhauling and ready to win now. Miami's a quarterback away. You put Justin Herbert on the Miami Dolphins. You feeling good about him?
Yeah, but that's the Chargers, though. They have the quarterback and the team.
Of course.
So that's why.
That's kind of.
But I get what you're saying.
The example I'm making out of Miami. The only reason why no one's talking about Miami is because of Tua. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, good offensive line, good run game, offensive-minded rookie head coach, very good defense. That's a recipe for success, if you ask me. You go out and get Jimmy G, Miami. You do that, you're going to have, in my opinion, the best offseason. The Bengals went out and got a lineman, which I thought was important for them. That was good. The Raiders, again, obviously, they made the flashy signings. Green Bay has not had the best offseason.
They got worse.
Yeah. They got a lot worse. Jeff, what do they need to do in the draft with picks, 22 and 28?
Yeah.
To make sure they're not struggling.
They signed Valdez-Scantling, I believe, or at least they're trying to. I know he's meeting with the Chiefs as well. The Chiefs could be able to sign him. So he'll probably go to the Chiefs. The Packers right now is wide receiver. I mean, you have Randall Cobb and Allen Lazard as your 1 and 2 right now. And not only that, you got Robert Tonyan coming back, so at least you have that. But again, they got to pick a wide receiver. That's probably the biggest need on this team is finding either a veteran or somebody through the draft. That's why I believe so many wide receivers are going to go in the first round because the Chiefs need one, the Packers need one, and that's really what it comes down to. The Packers did get worse. They lost to Darius Smith, big part of that defense. I know he was out last year. They still won some games, but still, the prior year really showed his value. So with the Packers, they got to address that wide receiver position, Adam. Even if they take a rookie, you're then relying on a rookie to be really your number 1, I think, at that point. So maybe it is getting a veteran. There's still guys out there. We'll see what they do, but the Packers did get worse this offseason. There's no question about it. They got to address that wide receiver position.
What about Kansas City? Same issues, right?
But at least the Kansas City, what they got going for them is, they do got to address their wide receiver, but they got the assets. At least they have the 29 and 30 pick, back end of the first round. I don't know who will be there. Maybe they do, if a bunch of wide receivers are gone, maybe they do take a, Jahan Dotson or whoever it is, and it kind of puts the Lions in a position where you have David Bell and Christian Watson, which you'll wait for those guys. I think Jahan would be one of the guys I would take at 32 or 34. But again, both those teams, Adam, it is a wide receiver right now market for most of these contenders. And that's what it comes down to. That's why I think so many are going to go in the first round. So the Chiefs, the Packers, they got to find some more weapons. You can't have Juju Smith-Schuster as your number 1. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
Kansas City are probably in the market. Look, Kansas City can easily move up with a team like Philly. Hell, maybe even into the top 13, top 12.
Right.
They have picks 22 and 28. They can move up if they want that specific wide receiver. They're going to be able to get them. Watch out. Honestly, watch out. I'm liking the offseason so far around the NFL. I think it's been one of the most storyline-driven / wild move off seasons in my lifetime. 2 franchise wide receivers traded. And they're not even out of their prime. Both go for first-round picks. Unbelievable. All of the free agent signing, the quarterback drama, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield. Carson Wentz dumped after being traded for a first-round pick last year. So much drama. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And in a league where I could argue 6 to 8 years ago, we were talking about wide receivers losing value. Few rule changes, and wide receivers have never been more valuable. Ever. In any given history point in the NFL. There's never been a period where wide receivers are more valuable. You don't believe me? Jamar Chase took the Cincinnati Bengals from a nice up-and-coming project to a Super Bowl team. Now, did he do it by himself? No, he didn't. But what getting Jamar Chase allowed them to do was they invested in an edge rusher. They invested in better defensive players. The only thing they didn't invest in is protecting their quarterback, and it bit them in the ass, obviously. But that's the game of football now, guys. You get the quarterback right. You get the offensive lineman. You protect the quarterback. You get wide receivers so he can have weapons to throw to. And then the opposite, when you're trying to negate an opposing team's quarterback, you get to the quarterback and you put pressure on him. Why? So he makes mistakes that your secondary players can pounce and jump on. That's the NFL. And did I forget to say that you also need a coach and GM? Obviously, it's a larger puzzle than what I make it out to seem to be, but still, the point is that is the core foundation. That is the core foundation in what needs to happen when assembling a roster. And when we talk about the Detroit Lions, again, the complaints of Jeff, they're too quiet in free agency. I don't think so.
No.
I think they're not committing money because they know they're not ready to win. And to all you dumb fucks, and you know who you are, that say, oh, well, you know, they should take Malik Willis because the Kansas City Chiefs took Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs were 12-4.
They made the playoffs.
12-4. And they had a bye week in the AFC the year they drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He walked in, Alex Smith, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, he walked into a good situation. They go 10-6 that year while he sits. He takes over the next year, lights the league up on fire. We all know the rest is history. You are a 3-13-1 football team. You didn't trade up to number 10 overall to get a Patrick Mahomes. You're not trading at all. You're selecting at the bottom of the board, or top of the board, I should say, actually. But you're bottom of the league, 3-13-1. Your timeline, in my opinion, is Jared Goff is officially the starting quarterback this year, no questions asked. And then next year, you go for that quarterback. Unless, again, the only caveat is Brad Holmes in love with one of these guys. If he is, he should move heaven and earth for him. But I don't think that's the signals he's been giving you.
Right.
If anything, he's signed the backups. If anything, he's committed to Jared Goff, going and getting a DJ Chark, getting him the support he needs to see that quarterback be successful with this head coach. And you saw Jared Goff go 3-1 down the stretch. And look, I know, there's nobody more critical of Jared Goff last year than me, I believe. But down the stretch, he played some of his best ball in years. I don't want to hear it. He's a capable quarterback when you have the coach, you have the roster. Is he a franchise guy? No, he isn't. But he's good enough to win you football games. Ryan Tannehill got the number 1 seed last year, guys.
He's a placeholder.
You can win with Jared Goff. And you can move up like the Chiefs did to get the guy you want. Not rocket science here. You are still not in a position, in my opinion, to bring in a young rookie quarterback where by next season, time to contend, baby. I feel next season you'll be able to have the roster for Jared Goff to give it one more go. And then you address the quarterback position. So in 2023, you're drafting a quarterback, and you can sit them that season. And that's your timeline, Detroit. Because now Brad Holmes has had 4 off seasons to build a roster around a young rookie contract. Not 2. There's a big difference. 2 years to build a roster, and 4 on a rookie contract. This team should be a better football team this year. Dan Campbell needs to prove that he can win games in the NFL and that he can be better as a head coach. This is a team that's going to win 6 to 9 games. They can trade up. They have the draft capital. And if there's a guy they're in love with, they will give up every goddamn pick that you can think of to make sure they get him. That is not an issue. And that's how creative, effective, winning GMs think like. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, the 5 takeaways we have had so far from the Detroit Lions offseason. Scott Bischoff joining us at 9:40. Speak of the devil, he just walked in. I'm excited. We'll get him on in, 12, 13 minutes. Very excited to have Scott on this morning. But, Maddy, before we go, what do we got?
Yes, before we go, can you please tell us about MyBookie?
MyBookie, the premier sports book outlet for all of you. Use code Woodward when you sign up today at mybookie.com or mybookie.ag. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. Again, it's code Woodward. You sign up today, they'll match your first deposit, guys. Free money on the line. Sweet 16 matchups tonight. Who you got? Time to put some money on it. And if you have a gambling problem, please call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds, it's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
We've got more March Madness tonight, and Woodward Sports wants to send you to the college basketball finals in New Orleans. Make sure you're listening Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show, afternoons with Big D Energy, and of course, drive time with The Bottom Line. If you want more chances to qualify, make sure you're following Woodward Sports on Twitter, Instagram, and of course, head to our website at woodwardsports.com. This is almost over, so make sure you get your qualifiers in. I think I've been banned from doing qualifiers, but do you guys have any ideas for today's qualifier?
Draft the cocaine.
Always.
Hashtag draft the cocaine. Put it in the chat.
Adam will choose whoever he wants. It won't be random.
No. This time it'll be you.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
doing it no more.
no. I got to get you on the cocaine train. All right? Listen, I'm on the high-graded cocaine stuff right now.
They said
I need
in
you
the
to
chat
catch up
that
a
I
little
would
bit.
buy the low-grade cocaine just to piss you off.
That's not nice.
They're not wrong.
And I think that's not good for you.
It's not good for me.
I think you need the better coke. And I can be that friend to give you it.
Can I say that someone in the chat about 40 minutes ago said that the draft of cocaine bit's getting old?
Good. They can go fuck themselves.
They're getting old, too.
Think I care?
No, I just wanted
Fish,
to
if
point
you think
that out.
I give a rat's ass.
No, I know you don't. I mean,
one of my
clearly
friends
don't.
actually texted me yesterday, and they were like, can you please explain why all this Woodward Sports stuff has hashtag draft the cocaine on it? I said, you clearly don't watch my show. Don't ask me questions.
Listen, if you have a problem with draft the cocaine, there
Get out.
in the
Get
top.
out.
If you're watching on your laptop,
Get out.
there is a button in the top right corner of your screen.
What
It's
is
an
it,
X.
Lee?
Click
Oh,
it.
okay.
If you're watching on your phone, swipe up and exit. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you, Adam. I didn't know you could
Maddy,
do that.
could you please choose a winner before we get started on
No.
the Lions off season?
You gotta wait for people to type in.
There's
no,
a
I
ton.
don't care about
okay.
them.
There's a ton.
And we
You
have...
gotta put it in a wheel.
No, I'm not putting it in a wheel.
She's gonna do it
I
randomly.
got hated on for the wheel. James Lightbody.
Hell yeah.
Woo!
Congratulations, James. Please email I love March Madness 2022 at gmail.com.
That's the one.
Fish will get you hooked up with all your information. If Fish asks you for your social security and debit card information, I recommend you do not do it. Fish is a scammer.
Allegedly.
I would be very careful about the information you give to Fish. Having said that, Detroit Lions off season. Let's get it started. Jeff, give me some takeaways so far on how the Lions have operated.
It's got to be the patience, and I love it. That's the biggest part about this thing is being patient. And could the Lions have went out and tried to spend money? Yes, but they chose to at least give DJ Chark a 1-year prove-it deal. Great deal. You re-sign Charles Harris. This offseason is kind of the retooling offseason. You bring in guys that can help your team. DJ Chark, you needed help on the wide receiver, especially a fit like that. Big, runs a sub 4.4. So that's someone that I was a big fan of. You didn't have to commit a lot of money to him. After this year, whether he gets injured, whether he doesn't play well, there's no commitment. And that's what I love about this offseason, the patience Brad Holmes has. And that's the difference between this regime and past regimes. You're not throwing $80 million at Trey Flowers. This offseason, at least this offseason, they took their time. They evaluated all these players. I'm sure they tried to get Miles Jack, went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's not like I can fault them for, necessarily, not rushing in and spending all this money. I love it. I honestly love the approach. Next offseason, you're going to have more money. You're at least going to have more clarity because this draft class will be in. You'll be able to re-sign all these rookies, sign all these rookies. And then next offseason, that'll be the offseason, at least Brad Holmes, you should expect them to spend more money. I mean, you're going to win 6 to 9 games, probably on the low end of 6 to 8 games. And then next year, you go out, you go spend money, you sign free agents. Why would you throw money at anybody, let alone this year, when next year you haven't even figured out yet what you're doing, let alone at the quarterback position, but in general, you don't have a pass rush. Your defense was near bottom of the league, despite how well they actually played. We can't just move past that. Like, we can't. We can't sit here and say, well, next year, this team's going to get better. There's a lot of pieces, at least on defense, they need to fix. Wide receiver, they kind of fixed it with DJ Chark, but you still need more guys in that room. Jared Goff, you're still not sold really on him, but I love it. They didn't rush into anything. Brad Holmes played the long game, and that's kind of the reality of it. Patience. Brad Holmes knows what he's doing, at least. They have a plan, and Sheila talked about this in the interview, sit down with Daniel Rogers, talking about just her ideology and her plan. They're on course, and I get all of that, and that's kind of what I appreciate out of Sheila. Yes, people would fault her for not going out and not being in the Tyreek Hill conversation, not going out and being in the Deshaun Watson conversation. But again, it's not the time. The Lions aren't ready to win right now. And whether that's a reality for you or not, that's the truth. The Lions, they won 3 games last year. And I get it, the injuries. But again, like this team is 2 years away from winning at least. I would say expected. I mean, we got to find out if Dan Campbell can coach. So that's the biggest thing. Being patient in this offseason, bringing back the players from last year that made an impact, and not committing a bunch of money in free agency, Adam. That's the biggest thing I took away, and that's why I'm a big fan of the offseason. I have nothing really to sit here and critique about Brad Holmes. What'd you expect the man to do? Really, truthfully.
I expected the man to operate like a quality winning GM did
well, we got
and
that.
does, and he has so far. And I have no issues with Brad Holmes. He needs to get the quarterback eventually. He needs to figure out if he has the head coach, and only he'll be able to answer that over the coming years. But he's shown he understands how to build a roster. He understands positional value, finding value later on in the draft, filling the holes and needs that he has currently on this roster. He's been doing an excellent job, in my opinion. And it doesn't need to be the big, flashy Devontae Adams trades, the Tyreek Hill trades. I don't care. I am tired of seeing that, if anything. Signing a Trey Flowers. Signing these players who are average to mega contracts, and you're committing your future cap for no reason. I like the way they're operating, but I have no issues with what's going on here in Detroit, especially in the offseason. My biggest takeaway is patience. Patience is the name of the game. Being able to get a Chark for $12 million.
Yeah, not signing Allen
1 year
Robinson
committal. I wouldn't have minded the Allen Robinson deal had it been for the money we talked about. $12.5 million on a 3-year contract.
Right.
You get him on, which he basically got from the Rams. But he went to a contender, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no issue here at all. And at least when the conversation is happening, you're feeling confident about whatever the end result is. But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Scott Bischoff live in studio. Draft expert, Malik Willis lover, Jordan Davis hater. I'm going to give him all the labels
all these
this
titles
morning.
on him before he even gets on the mic. Come on.
We'll get to him in a little bit, but Maddy, before we do.
Yes, before we go, could you please tell us about Planet Fitness?
Planet Fitness, guys. Jordan Davis definitely knows something about being fit. That guy is a monster for his size, running the 40 time he does. You know damn well he's working out at Planet Fitness, as should you. Your fitness is essential. Start today by going to planetfitness.com or visiting one of their Metro Detroit locations and signing up for $0 down, $10 a month, or you can upgrade to the Black Card. The Black Card offers you a ton of perks. You're allowed to bring in a guest for free. Guys, check out Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com or again, visit one of their local Metro Detroit locations. And remember, they are the studio sponsor of the Woodward Sports Network. We'll see you after the break.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
At Wingsnob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wingsnob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wingsnob. We just have better wings.
Detroit, you've been waiting. You've been asking, and now he's back. Starting Monday, April 4th, Terry Foster joins the Morning Woodward Show every day, bringing you Detroit sports like only he can. The Morning Woodward Show with Terry Foster and Adham starts April 4th, live on the Woodward Sports Network.
You know what today is perfect for? Going to get a tan at Chili Peppers Tanning. That's where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless sanitized rooms and trained certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll even beat your competitors by $5. Don't forget to pick up Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions. They've got 26 locations across Metro Detroit and more to come. So find a Chili Peppers Tanning near you. That's where you'll find the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans.
All right, let's bring Scott Bischoff in. I am very excited to talk to Scott this morning. Got to obviously open up with the number 2 overall pick. But Scott, good morning, dude.
Hi. Good morning, Scott.
Congratulations on the draft show with you and Russell Brown.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Very excited about it.
Excited about it. It's cool. Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. So, you obviously have some news on Malik Willis.
I don't know if it's news.
I wouldn't say just news only. I would say more insight into the player he is, what he can be, and what that means for the Detroit Lions.
Well, maybe not even what it means for the Detroit Lions. Maybe what it means for pick 1. Maybe. And I think it's just in a nutshell, it's as simple as this. There is no other player in this entire class, period. I don't care who he is or what he turns out to be, that can flip a franchise around like Malik Willis can. Period. There just isn't. So if you look at it, now I know it's risky. He has to get to his upside. He has to develop as a passer. But as far as what he does well in today's game, if he hits, he could take the Lions from where they are right now and put them contending very quickly. Let's say that you stay at 2 and you take Hutchinson and he works out and he's a good pass rusher in the NFL. What's it do for you? Realistically, how much does that help your franchise overall?
Well, I think the answer to that is eventually you're going to need to go out and get a franchise quarterback, which the Detroit Lions lack, right?
Yeah.
And my counter to that would be there's so much made of what a quarterback is. I think you go over the last 25 years, all the quarterbacks that have come out, the top-tier prospects, even the ones that have totally busted and missed, they've all had some capabilities, the arm strength, the charisma, the confidence, whatever it may be. Why do they fail? And a lot of that is because they're going to some of the worst situations in the NFL. And I look at the Lions right now as, are they ready to nurture a franchise quarterback like the Kansas City Chiefs did coming off a 12-4 season with Patrick Mahomes? Like Aaron Rodgers falling to, 23, I believe, to Green Bay. Lamar Jackson falling to the end of the first round to Baltimore.
That's kind of the one where...
That's the concern I have when it comes to Malik Willis, the Detroit Lions. I think they're 1 year away. So you say Aiden Hutchinson goes to the Lions. What does that do for them? Well, they've been bottom 5, bottom 6, I could argue, for the last 8 to 10 years in pass rush in the NFL.
Yeah.
That is one of the easiest ways to counter an opposing team's quarterback is to put pressure on him, obviously. And that gives this team one more piece that they need to build around. The Chiefs always had a problem and a ceiling on defense. Then they got D Ford.
Yeah.
The Bengals were a nobody. They got Trey Hendrickson along with Jamar Chase as wide receiver. You need those positional impact players. Could you argue that quarterback obviously is more important? Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
But my concern is, are the Lions ready to nurture a Malik Willis at number 2?
They're one of the few teams in the NFL that can. You have Jared Goff. He's playing this year. Their offensive line's really good, and it will do nothing but get better.
Absolutely.
They do have a good running game. I'm not saying DeAndre Swift is a great between the tackles runner, but he is a nice he's a nice weapon, and if you create an offense where you're throwing him the ball a lot, I mean, you have the makings of what looks like a very good offense. Not right now, but as it grows. I mean, you're getting Ragnow back. You've got Sewell's right tackle. You've got Decker as your left tackle. You have Jonah Jackson, who made the Pro Bowl this year. You know what I mean? You have pieces up front. You do have the ability to nurture him along and give him a year. He needs a year.
What don't the Lions have? And I could argue that's marquee weapons on offense. TJ Hawkinson has not lived up to his potential. So you're not walking in with a tight end that is a guarantee safety option.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Sir. They do have pick 32 and 34. They also have 2 first-rounders next year. My guess is they're going to have 3 top 45 picks next year. So you have 5 valuable picks that you can build around him. So it's not just taking Malik Willis and then adding nothing and just whatever. It's the concept that you don't have to give anything up to get him. He's right there for you. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Wouldn't surprise me if Atlanta traded up to 1 with Jacksonville. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if they did that. He might not be in range for them. He might not.
Is it more affordable for them to trade to 1 than to 2, knowing that the Jaguars aren't interested in a quarterback?
Yeah, but I think there's as this resolves itself, there will be some desire to have to get up past the Lions, to jump ahead of the Lions, to be able to get him.
So I will acknowledge that they do have the offensive line. They do have the young, innovative, I believe, offensive coordinator in the building. Those are all pluses. Can Malik Willis develop into a quarterback? If this was a straightforward science, Scott, every team would have a quarterback. You just never know. Even when you think you know, you don't know.
It is such a wild card.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the Lions getting Malik Willis, let's say, at number 2 this year, he's walking into a receiving core that is not complete.
Yep.
With a second-year pro that everyone's very excited about, but he's only one individual. A tight end that has been injury prone, who has not reached his ceiling yet, and he was the number 8 overall pick a few years back. He's not walking into a Tyreek Hill, a Travis Kelce. And I would make the argument, if the Lions do go for Malik Willis, they need to overhaul everything, similar to what Baltimore did, to make sure that he is successful.
Well,
and
it's absolutely changing your offense. They have 100% is, without a doubt. There is zero doubt about that. You would absolutely be changing your offense around. And this is why the Atlanta connection is interesting, because you moved off Matt Ryan, you bring in Marcus Mariota, you pay him for 1 year. You have the ability to move away from him after a year, but he's an athletic, mobile quarterback. And you just connect the dots with.
You can build something similar around Mariota for 1 year while Malik Willis sits in.
It's the same offense.
See, and that's the thing about Detroit is I think it's completely different. You're getting 2 completely different quarterbacks. Jared Goff and Malik Willis, we're talking night and day.
But in some ways, I think that the desire to talk about Malik Willis as this super raw, more raw than anybody's ever played, is really overblown. I really do. I think that there are so looking at quarterbacks, it's always important to see quarterbacks make improvements over the course of a season. It's a huge thing for scouts. It just is. So like Jake Rudock did that at Michigan a few years ago. Week 1, he looked kind of rough. Towards the end of the season, he looked like a much better player. So there's improvement that you can see. Malik Willis has done that from the end of the season at Liberty to the Senior Bowl, where he looked different. And
his
now
footwork's gotten a lot better, to be fair. That's been the biggest improvement. He's always had the arm strength, but his ability to 3, 5, 7-step drop, his feet don't look heavy. Is that a good way of putting it?
Absolutely. He's not in mud, and he's in sync and in kind of in tempo and time with his receivers. Where that's one of the things they talked about. One of his flaws was at Liberty is that he would shorten his drops because he had to, because pressure was coming, and he was out of sync with his receivers, leading to some inaccuracy stuff. No, some of that is like, okay, all right, cool. But there is an element of truth there, but you can see him making those improvements and looking like a better thrower already. And we're talking about him being 3 months removed from Liberty's program. And you can see those improvements. He's a hardworking kid. I don't think that there's any...
Character has to be one of the biggest reasons why you jump on a quarterback.
It is singularly the most important thing when you look at Malik Willis, and his character is off the charts high. The Lions got a week of seeing what his character is as a person. The exuberance, the joy he brings. I think that now I know this is going to sound goofy to some people, but that's a big deal. A guy who comes into the room and brings everybody together and is happy to be there and wants to go to work, even a guy who knows he's sitting and wants to, and is cool learning and understanding he needs to, there's a lot there. I just think in the end, there's no player who can flip it around as quick. Now, having said that, we can look to the 2023 class and think that these quarterbacks are great next year, but they're going to have flaws too. These guys are small.
Every year it's the same thing. We hear of quarterbacks you've never heard of that pop up it happens every year. This is a reoccurring thing. It's the most important position. It'll always happen.
Do you think there's any chance the Lions are in position to get their favorite guy in the draft next year?
No.
No, but they'll have the capital to move up to do it.
If teams are willing to trade.
Okay.
To be fair.
But then you're giving up capital to take a guy who's a total gamble.
Of course. It's the same thing next year that it is this year. But is the roster more ready this year or next year? And beyond that.
Well, I don't know if Goff is here next year.
Fair point. But the question that I have is when we're taking, not just we, when you're taking a quarterback number 2 overall, it's typically not a playoff team that's doing it. It's a team that is at the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the quarterbacks that have sat, they have typically gone from anywhere from 8, 10 to 24, 27, 28.
Yeah.
And you want to use the outliers, let's say Mahomes, even though Kansas City traded up to get him. Deshaun Watson.
Trey Lance
fell
last
to 12. Trey Lance, a Super Bowl team a year and a half removed. They go out, NFC title game with him on the bench.
Yep.
There's a circumstantial difference between that situation and what the Lions are right now.
100%.
To your point, you need the franchise guy eventually, and I don't think that's something you can hide from if you're any team.
Do you believe in Brad Holmes?
Yes, if he takes Malik Willis, I'm going to be signing off, no problem with it.
Do you believe that he can find talent later in drafts?
Absolutely.
Then I think the idea of us being afraid of Malik Willis is a little bit like it's overblown. I mean, it's almost a gift.
It's unconventional. It's unheard of, right? A team that was 3-13-1, drafting a quarterback, to have him sit.
Yep.
We don't really see that often. They usually write in and play.
Yep.
So it's something different. I'm open to it. I'm actually very open to it. But damn.
I know.
This is a different conversation than I think what?
It's bold.
It's very bold.
It's super risky.
We're talking people's jobs are on the line. And Jeff, I want to get you
I don't
into
know.
this
I
conversation.
mean, I don't know. You have pick 32, you have pick 34.
How often do GMs get to pick twice 2 quarterbacks? How often does that happen, realistically?
You're just thinking of the Cardinals.
Well, I mean,
the Cardinals are the only recent example, and it's because he fired the head coach.
But he's already picked
Rosen.
Goff. So, I mean, it's like, he's already made a move on a quarterback.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a natural desire to just push this decision down the road just because it's easier to not have to think about it. And it's easier to say, next year we'll just draft Stroud.
No, I think that's ignorant. I think that's very ignorant.
I just think that
if your front office
reality.
group right now believes in any of these guys, whether it's Willis, Corral, I don't care who, they should do whatever the hell it takes to get him at number 2. They move heaven and earth. I don't care what it takes. You get him at 2. If that's the guy for that front office. But I want to take a quick break. When we get back, I want to revisit the quarterback situation. But before we do, Jeff, could you tell us about the Folding Warehouse, please?
Yes, I can. Well, Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck, home of the original football bowling pin game called Folding. Host your corporate party, team building event, or you can just come in with family and friends. They have 2 ways to play, $10 unlimited open play, or the private lane reservation, which costs $120 for up to 10 people for 2 hours. They have over 100 different beers. They have their $2 mystery beer machine and multiple full bars. You bring the food, or you can have it delivered in. Come get your full line. Check it out at foldingwarehouse.com.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risk, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down!
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires and hits!
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy.
We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals
for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show.
Big D Energy.
And the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shots, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans.
Got it!
Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness,
Centron,
and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over! Anything can happen in March!
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Scott Bischoff joining us this morning. Scott, I do want to resume. We talked about Malik Willis's upside, his ceiling. My last question for you, maybe not my last question, we'll have to wait and see how you answer. But my question to you is when we talk about a quarterback like Malik Willis, how important is it to understand that, yes, he's mobile, right? He's got the modern trends, the modern capabilities that you want in a quarterback, but if you look at the teams that are winning, And the quarterbacks that are successful, it's the ones that throw within the pocket. Do you believe this is a guy that can develop into an elite pocket passer? Because that is the one knock on Lamar Jackson right now, is he hasn't developed enough in the pocket, and eventually that athleticism is going to wear off.
Do I believe he can develop into an elite pocket passer?
And when I say elite, I'm talking a guy that can step in the pocket and make the throws.
Win a game.
I'm not saying he's the greatest passer ever in the NFL history, but we're talking a top 10
functional.
Slightly above functional, yes.
I think he's functional right now. I think if he does need to improve, and he's showing this. Not everything needs to be 100 miles an hour. Not everything needs to be ripped, right? Like so there's a level of anticipation and touch he needs to develop, and he's showing that he's doing that already. Am I going to guarantee that he can develop into that? No, but I think he can. I mean, I think he can be a functional pocket passer who creates plays out. And this is the entire thing. Quarterbacks who are, I mean, it's why Russell Wilson's so effective, is because he creates plays when the pocket collapses. He doesn't create plays because he runs so much. It's because he wants to throw the ball and drive it down the field while, getting out of the pocket. And he has to do that all the time because their offensive line's not very good. So with Willis, I think you can do those kind of things, but there's the component of him running with the ball that early in his career, I think that you rely upon that a little more in your scheme. It's maybe you design half-field reads for him and 1-2 progression reads, and if it's not there, go. And that's a little bit like what you see with Lamar Jackson. But I think the idea that he's so raw he can't function in a regular offense is just like, it ignores what he is as a passer. The other component of it is his ability to challenge the field vertically like most guys can't. And when you look at Shark, big player, runs 4.34. A lot of these guys in this draft are fast. Mm-hmm. If you're taking Willis at 2, maybe you're taking, you don't even have to do it this year. But it's more the idea that he can challenge defenses more vertically than a lot of quarterbacks can in the NFL. I know I'm not answering your question because I don't want to, because I don't feel like there's a good answer there. I think if he develops the way I think he can, the answer is that he will be a fine pocket passer, but you're not drafting him to be a pocket passer. That's not why you're not drafting a Ferrari and it's like the Pitts conversation last year. You're not taking home a Ferrari and putting a chain on it and pulling out bushes and trees. You're just not doing that. So there are elements where I don't know that you'd want him to be strictly a pocket passer. Yes, he would need to be at times, but you want him to create plays outside structure. That's where Mahomes wins. That's where Mahomes looked paralyzed at times last year when teams refused to allow him to do that.
Am I a prisoner of the moment by saying for the last 8 years there hasn't been a mobile quarterback to win or appear in the Super Bowl, and I don't consider Patrick Mahomes that type of guy. That is a guy that can deliver in the pocket, and he can make plays. He can also escape. So is Malik Willis a guy that can use his athleticism to escape pressure?
I mean, Burrow was in the Super Bowl this year.
Into it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I think that provides me with much more clarity, though. That's perfect.
I mean,
Jeff?
I'm not saying that Willis is Burrow, because Burrow's a really accurate thrower. But, he is a mobile guy. He created stuff outside of structure at LSU with Chase that was just ridiculous. That's why the pairing was perfect. That's why they ignored the tackle position last year and took Chase. But Burrow's he's a mobile quarterback.
And then one question before the show ends. I went on the Woodward Heavyweights podcast, shout out to them, and they brought up something that you said that honestly, it stopped me in my tracks. Because I was a little hesitant. Even now I'm on Malik Willis, but the more you're talking about him, the more I am starting to fall in love with him. But they mentioned how you talked about this draft class. And I think that's one of the best arguments, how nobody is generational enough in this draft class to at least feel like, all right, you're passing on an Aiden Hutchinson. But now it's, if you take a Malik Willis, it's less of a risk this year than any other draft class, because they talked about Aiden Hutchinson last year. Where would he go last year, considering this year? And you can kind of speak on it because you alluded to it earlier, but it's a great argument.
Well, I don't know if Hutchinson goes top 10 in last year's class. I really don't think he does. I think Penei Sewell goes first in this class, and it's really not a discussion. Because, even if, like I said earlier, even if you crush pick number 2 with a player who turns out to be a really good player for you, in the end, it helps incrementally. I mean, Romeo Okwara was awesome 2 years ago. Had tons of sacks.
Mm-hmm.
What did it do for him?
Does it come down to the end-all, be-all equation, which is you need the GM, the head coach, and the quarterback? And don't talk to me about a successful football team until you have all 3?
Yes, but you also need a quarterback on a team-friendly contract where you can then go get guys and win. And pushing this down the road and continuing to push this down the road is almost locking yourself into having to go get it at a certain time and not being able to. I mean, we want Holmes to pick a quarterback and make it work, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you got to go hit that position multiple times.
I think that's fair to say. Scott, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That is some of the best conversations I've ever had about Malik Willis.
He nailed every question you had for him.
I can't thank you
I was well prepared.
He came in ready.
No, Scott, I really can't thank you enough. Great insight. Guys, make sure you check out Scott and Russell Brown on the the Draft Show. Their podcast dropping. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find podcasts. And I believe Thursday, which is today, your first YouTube episode will drop. So that's going to be fun. Scott, thank you so much again. To everybody who tuned in this morning, thank you very much. I hope you all have a blessed day. If you'll excuse me, I need coffee.